At the wedding of Jordanian Prince Hussein, this ice-white-haired woman took pride of place. This is Princess Muna, the mother of the current King of Jordan, Abdullah II. Today, she is one of the most respected ladies in her country. However, she was once disliked in the royal palace. Why did she have a brutal fate? And for what reason did she divorce King Hussein? Keep watching for more details on the WOW channel. At the luxurious wedding of Crown Prince Hussein, the future King of Jordan, and Saudi Arabian architect Rajwa al-Saif, in the gardens of Zahran Palace in Amman, 82-year-old Princess Muna al-Hussein occupied one of the most honorable places. She sat in the front row with the other most honored guests. Muna was dressed in a lilac gown that complemented her signature ice-white hair and combined European luxury with Oriental polish. She was the epitome of style and elegance. Also, Princess Muna played a prominent role at the wedding of her granddaughter, Princess Aman, Crown Prince Hussein's sister, who married Venezuelan investment banker Jamil Alexander Thermiotis in a romantic service in March. The king's mother is a welcome guest at any royal reception. Despite her status as a princess, she does not seek the spotlight and prefers to remain in the shadow of Queen Rania. That is why not much is known about her. However, she has an incredible fate, full of joyful and sad events. Moreover, she played a significant role in forming the modern monarchy in Jordan, even though she was born and raised in England. Princess Muna, originally named Tony Avril Gardner, was born on April 25, 1941. Her father, Walter Percy Tony Gardner, began his career in the army as a carpenter and eventually rose to lieutenant colonel. Little is known about her mother, Doris Sutton. Tony spent some time overseas during her childhood, including a period in Kuala Lumpur. It was through her father's international army service that she crossed paths with King Hussein of Jordan, whom she would later marry. Her love story with the king is like a fairy tale about Cinderella. Tony was a commoner and never dreamed of a royal life. However, she was able to win the heart of the royal man thanks to her youthful charm. At the time, 19-year-old Tony Gardner came to Jordan to reunite with her father and take a job at Jordan Radio, and as a secretarial assistant on the set of the film Lawrence of Arabia. King Hussein, who allowed his troops to work as extras, often came to the shoot to see how things were going. There he met a young Englishwoman and felt sympathy for her. Then they met at a fancy dress party, which the king attended in a pirate's outfit. Tony Gardner remarked, "It makes you look rather scruffy, Your Majesty." He was later to write, "For the first time in my life, here was a girl who took an interest in me as a human being and not as a king." King Hussein and the Englishwoman Tony Gardner had a big difference. Firstly, they were people from different worlds. Secondly, they were of different religions. He was a Muslim and she was a Christian. Hussein was also 6 years older than the girl and had more life experience. By then, he was only 25, but had ruled the country for almost 10 years and had one unsuccessful marriage. When the king was 20, his parents arranged for him to marry an Egyptian-born third cousin, Dina bint Abdul Hamid. In this marriage, they had a daughter, Princess Alia bint Hussein. However, this relationship had no love, so the couple broke up just a year after the wedding. The king decided that his subsequent marriage would be necessarily for love, regardless of the opinion of his parents and the entire royal court. It was no secret that Tony Gardner was not well liked by anyone in the royal family of Jordan, particularly Queen Zayn, the king's mother. Everyone was challenged to accept that the Jordanian king had chosen to marry a commoner and a woman of another religion. Nevertheless, King Hussein stood by his decision and showed great resolve. They tied the knot in Amman in 1961. The king wore a military uniform and Tony wore a traditional European white dress. This marked the beginning of a new tradition in the royal family, whereby all brides would follow suit and wear classic European wedding attire. It's worth noting that Queen Rania and Princess Rajwa also opted for a European-style dress for their weddings instead of traditional Jordanian clothing. After the wedding, Tony Gardner converted to Islam and also received a royal title and a new name. Since then, everyone began to call her Princess Muna al-Hussein. She was never proclaimed queen, presumably because of her foreign origin. There were also rumors that Princess Muna allegedly did not convert to Islam. However, those rumors could be distributed by her opponents. A year after the wedding, the couple had a son, Abdullah II, who is the current king of Jordan. A year later, the second son, Prince Faisal bin Hussein. And 5 years later, the couple welcomed the twin princesses, Aisha and Zayn. The British origin of Princess Muna, of course, greatly affected the upbringing of their children. They absorbed many European traditions, and their first language was English. The family seemed happy. However, this idyll lasted only a short time. On December 21, 1972, King Hussein divorced Princess Muna and remarried Queen Alia al-Hussein 3 days later. Jordan's official royal court has never commented on the reason for the king's divorce from Princess Muna. However, judging by the fact that Hussein celebrated the wedding so quickly, it can be assumed that the reason for the separation was a new love affair in his life. According to the stories of those close to him, the king was madly in love with Alia. Of course, as a Muslim, King Hussein could take a second wife and not divorce Muna. However, it would be unthinkable for a European woman to share her husband with a second wife. Princess Muna would never have been able to accept such a fate, so she was forced to withdraw from this relationship. Princess Muna, whom King Hussein has divorced, is retaining custody of their 4 children and was given Humar Palace, 15 miles west of Amman, a contemporaneous New York Times article read. It also noted that her 2 sons would return to private school in Britain. Princess Muna retained her title and a good relationship with her ex-husband, and also continued raising her children. She decided to stay in Jordan and devoted herself to crucial social work. She founded the Princess Muna Scholarship Fund for Nursing and the Princess Muna College of Nursing and Allied Health Professions. In 2007, she was awarded the Sigma Theta Tau International Archon Award for helping advance health and welfare worldwide. She is also the vice president of the Royal College of Nursing. Muna never remarried, and nothing is known about her personal life. However, it is only clear that she has a good relationship with the ruling royal family of Jordan and participates in all important events. Unlike, for example, another ex-wife of King Hussein, Queen Noor, who was not invited to the wedding of Jordan's crown prince. King Abdullah II has a good relationship with his mother. His wife, Queen Rania, also frequently appears alongside Princess Muna at official events. Muna usually remains in the shadow of Rania, but this does not reduce her influence on the country's life. After all, she, as an Englishwoman, probably always influenced her son and his worldview. That's why it was so important to tell her story. Why do you think Princess Muna didn't remarry? Maybe because she continued to love King Hussein? Thanks for watching. Remember to share your thoughts with me. Click like and subscribe. See you next time.